guys, it's Nadine from Musician Photo Journal, and joining me today is One-Eyed Zal.
Hi.
I'm very excited to have you guys. I've never had you guys to interview, but I've seen you guys with OTOP and saw you guys out with Orgy, I think was the last time, so it's been a little while.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. You guys have your new album out, Witches, which I love the concept of it being Salem. How did you come up with like the Salem witch trials is what it's about, but how did that come about?
Well, it was somewhat accidental. I wasn't supposed to be writing an album at this time. We actually had another one slated for that release date already that we were finishing up. But I just happened to read the story of one of the people who was executed for witchcraft in 1692. Her name was Mary Esty. And her story was just so touching to me, and I wrote her a song called "A Rope for Mary." And then I got curious, and I kept on reading more and more about the hysteria and the other people involved and Puritanism and the history of Salem and all that. And the more I read, just the more I was inspired to write. It's just kind of naturally how I express, So I just kept writing, and the next thing you know, there was like blah, all these songs, and it was like a whole story, and we had kind of been jamming with acoustic instruments prior to me reading that story, and we had all this really pretty acoustic stuff that we'd written in the woods with banjo and mandolin and acoustic guitar, and so that was still kind of fresh on our minds. And we decided to kind of apply it all, and a lot of the lyrics I wrote to some of that stuff that we had done, and we just knocked out the album, and it just was this one thought. The way that it was recorded was one session, so it's not even like it's a bunch of different songs. It's just one song if you look at it in the recording software. So it was just really, it was effortless, It was just sort of was how we were feeling at the time, and, we couldn't stop it from coming out kind of thing. And we really were not supposed to be writing an album. It was like kind of in the way of what we were doing, but we had to.
Well, sometimes when that hits you just gotta keep going.
Yeah, so we decided to slate that one for the release, and it was just really a nice experience, and we did it rather quickly. The writing process was just a couple days, and then the recording, was pretty quick. We were living in this bus at the time, like in a parking lot, squatting. And we were renting a rehearsal studio in a warehouse, so there were maybe like 100 different bands renting rooms in this place, and we would have to wait until like 5 in the morning when everybody was gone, and there was nobody practicing their blues licks or whatever, or drums for 10 hours straight, and take those quiet moments and record what we could. And it wasn't even, this room definitely wasn't built for recording. There was all this crazy noise that we had to deal with, and but Jason is a super sick producer, and he knocked it out.
Sometimes, like mid-drum take, somebody starts doing this blues solo, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I guess we're going to wait another 5 hours for them to stop practicing scales.
Or somebody comes in and starts partying in the hallway, and it's like, all right, we'll wait. But the lead vocals, we rented J Street Studios in Sacramento for a day, and did like a lockout, and so we had a few hours, and we just busted out a lot of the acoustic stuff and the lead vocals in there, because it's just like a really beautiful room. It's owned by Brian
Wheat of Tesla, the bass player of Tesla.
Yeah, so, and highly recommended, J Street. It's awesome. Beautiful, beautiful rooms. So, we had just that day to do it, just that evening basically, and so we really just had to nail it. There weren't a lot of redos, if any, on something, so it came out really naturally and organically.
Cool. I like it a lot. I think it came out great. You would never know that it was so quick, but I guess it's like right when it's the right time and the right
Sometimes
energy.
art is like that. Sometimes it just flows out and you can't really stop it. And then sometimes it's meticulous and you have to, you know, be more scientific about it. But this was just really like vomiting an album, you know.
Very cool. And then the video that you guys have out right now, Afflicted, actually tells kind of a little the story, but your own kind of take on the story.
It's a mix of fact and fiction. You know, we didn't want to try to be like ultra historical about it because obviously we don't have that kind of budget to get like all the legit stuff, but so we sort of mixed fantasy and reality, and a lot of what is going on in the video is from the perspective of the people who were hysterical, who were imagining things, and like what they were imagining was happening, and then on the other side, the you know, the victims of this were the people who were executed, and so some of that kind of side of it, like maybe how that might have been, but you know, it's not a documentary or anything. It's definitely it's a mix of fact and fiction. But what I hope that it will do is spark people's interest so that they will do their research on the hysteria.
Yeah, I was doing a little bit too before we came.
Oh, good.
I've been there and went through like the different museums and stuff there, but it's been, I don't know, over 10 years. So
Yeah.
I'm brushing up, and I found where it said that some of the people that were not considered innocent that were hung, like took them over 300 years to finally be said that they were innocent, which is kind of crazy that it took that long.
Yeah.
Like how you took different aspects of what they think, like the black and the rye.
Right, yeah, there are
like
a
that.
lot of theories and there are a lot of perspectives, and we kind of wanted to touch on as many as possible, and different points of view, I guess.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool though, the songs. I like the
Thanks.
black and rye too.
Yeah.
Something's very strange about Salem town. Something's going down. Lately things have changed. In Salem town I see it all around.
If anybody's not familiar, there is a theory. It's not the most popular theory, but it's out there that that the rye crop near Salem could have been infected with a fungus called ergot, which contains one of the chemicals found in LSD. So some scholars theorize that the people of Salem Village were basically tripping on acid and seeing things, which I'm not sure that that's really the case. I think it was more about extreme religious oppression and kids being miserable, which that sparked it.
Yeah,
But,
because a lot of it
you know,
did start with like the kids playing.
it was the kids, you know, and it's these little girls basically took off with it. But who knows? You know, it's in the 1600s, so it's kind of hard to. There are documents that have been found that have been kind of like pieced back together, and you know, that's what I did. A lot of my research was actually reading what was written on these handwritten documents from the 1600s that have been preserved, thankfully, and scanned and put on the internet. So it's really interesting. I mean, these people were so afraid.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know, they
well,
were just ruled by this oppression of Puritanism. It's hardcore stuff, man. These people they couldn't have any fun.
Yeah, it didn't look like it.
You can't imagine being a kid then, you know. I think they were just acting out.
Yeah, could have been. So, back with the video though, you guys actually shot that up in Salem and Danvers area, which is the original like village of Salem.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
And it was super cold.
I looked at like your hands were like really red in the one shot. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I think
winter
it was real.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Patrick even tried to like tone that down, but my hands were just. And my feet were even worse. Like I was not sure that I wasn't going to lose a digit doing all that. It was really painful, but it just came out beautifully, and it was totally worth it.
Yeah, it came out really great. And the people that shot that for you guys also did like some of the older ones too.
Yeah, Patrick Kendall, the director, also directed You're a Vampire, Committed, and Be My Friend. So this was our 4th video with Patrick.
And Olga Turka, our it's the stylist that Patrick likes to work with. She's just the best for wardrobe, and a lot of times I end up wearing a lot of her clothes because we wear about the same size, and her shoes, and so we mix our wardrobes up, and then she goes like, vintage shopping and sews a lot of it from scratch, and this time we were able to secure some like super legit historical clothing from the people who keep the old pioneer village that we shot a lot of the building scenes in. They actually have a wardrobe too that they do reenactments and stuff. So we were able to use a lot of that. They were so cool about it, That family actually really helped out a lot. They were great. So, so Team Olga and Patrick.
Or talking about Salem and the Witches album is very fitting to you guys. Are doing a Halloween tour right now that we're catching you out on. I think it's only a few days in, is that right?
This is the 11th show of
11th.
a 31 date tour. So we started on the West Coast. We left from California, did Portland and Seattle, and then we went over the top of the country. We actually just played in Canada, our first time playing in Canada.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
cool.
awesome.
It was really cool. Toronto and Ottawa. And now tonight's our first night back in the States. And so, yeah, it's good. We're about a third of the way through.
Nice. And then Ryan winds down on Halloween, is that right?
Halloween is the last night. It's going to be in Phoenix. If anybody wants to fly out to Phoenix to see our Halloween show, that's the one
A lot
to
of
come
people
to.
are
Yeah, a lot of people from all over the country are going to go to the actual Halloween night show.
flying in for that one because that's the one that's going to be the big party.
Nice. And then what are you guys doing from there?
Well,
Back
we
to the
have,
studio.
going to go back to the studio, try and finish another album, and work on whatever the next tour is going to be, and
Was it the album that was already in the works?
Yeah, we had something kind of put together that we were going to start wrapping up when I accidentally wrote Witches. So we're gonna get back to that, and I have a lot of new songs.
lots of new material too. So
So
yeah, so we'll take some of the. It's always just wherever we are at the time. We want to embrace what is feeling good and what energy is happening right there. It's I think that's always the best idea. We have so many. We have like 3 albums worth of material that is finished and recorded that we just haven't had a way to put it out yet. So
it's not all one-eyed doll. Some of it is more experimental kind of stuff and some singer-songwriter stuff. So it's a mix of all of that and one-eyed doll music.
Cool.
We kind of just write whatever we're feeling like. So some of it's piano or
Right, and you do your solo thing too.
Yeah.
Right?
Which my solo music is basically the two of us
it's still just the 2 of us. Yeah.
as well, but it can't be really considered what we would do
Yeah,
for
we
a
wouldn't
show
want
for
to.
One Eyed Doll.
We wouldn't want to brand it One Eyed Doll if it's not like rock and roll,
Right.
guitar, drums, rock and roll.
We're not quite
Yeah.
capable of pulling out a grand piano on tour yet, but So there are different kinds of albums that we put out, and it usually, if it's called Kimberly Freeman, that's what that would be.
Yeah, it's just something offshoot, different genre than One Eyed Dolls.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, well, I probably should wrap it up. You guys are out with Stitch Apart and Run to Cover.
Uh-huh.
So,
They're awesome.
Yeah, really great bands. Check them out.
We
Stitched
love
Apart.
Stitched Apart. We love Run to Cover. They're all super talented people, really nice people, good to support. Stitched Apart has a brand new video, so look for that. It's at revolvermag.com and the YouTubes. And Rent a Cover is super cool. They've been keeping a tour video diary, so I have to. I think they might have posted the second part, so I have to watch it. But it's kind of fun seeing them in their van, all like, "Woo, we're touring!" It's cute.
Nice. Well, guys, thank you so much
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank
for joining us. Again, it's One Eyed Dal, and the album's called Witches. Remember to always support your artists and buy their albums. This has been a video edition of Musician Photojournal.